and there weren't any waves, 'cause there wasn't any wind, 'cause there wasn't any sun. We were waiting for the world to begin. We were waiting in the darkness. We were waiting in the darkness. Each of us in our own boats, each of us in our own thoughts. Someone had a boat with wheels and we didn't know why or what. And sometimes people told each other stories, but they must have been so nothing, because nothing had happened yet. And the silence only broken by the absence of the clinking of the masts. And every now and then a bird would not fly by and someone would look up and say, "What wasn't that?" We were waiting in the darkness. We were waiting in the darkness. We were restless. We felt blind because it was always dark. In the silence, it wasn't a burden to us then because fear hadn't been invented yet, and neither was the darkness. Without fear, it was our companion, a loving thing. But people were starting to have dreams and saying, "I dreamt of something called," there were a lot of people, smell of turkey, families. And people started to ask more and more questions. They started to ask. They would ask, will there be music there? And they started to ask, will we have bodies there? Will we get to choose our own? And people were starting to ask, oh, will there be language? What will it sound like? And someone said, I heard there's this thing called music, and what's it like? And what will we see? Well, we'll see. You'll see colors like you won't believe. You'll see purple mountains crossing other purple mountains as you walk by. And you will see purple irises streaming down the golden mountainside and across the verdant water-crested banks of the rivers. And the purple would float down into the waters, which were turquoise with fish and lined with bear, and then move out purple, blue, pink, mauve, the mauve valleys to the semaphore of wisdom that will come from the sparkling sea, flashing to you out there. I'm running along with my sister. Our pigtails were flying free. We're racing ahead of our sweet baby brother, and there is joy on our faces. We are sure of our places. In my dream, and more dreams are coming faster and thicker. In my dream, it's October, oh yeah, and the leaves are floating down like tiny mess, and you'll have to sort things out as you should, because that is part of our humanness. The dogs will run ahead of you through the forest and over meadows and fields, their tail ahead, almost always out of sight, pulling you further into the golden autumn light. Dogs will be a lighthouse for the family, following that sweet familiar tale, pulling us closer down the troubled family trail. Troubled? And one of them left, broke away from the family and moved up the logging roads, amongst the wildness and the waters of the ocean and the animals, and she was alone, and she stood there and she said, "This air is very unusual. I can almost feel the shape of the molecules scraping across my face. Soft, pure, bright." And she extended her arms out into the forest, and they wrapped around the trees and felt the bark, and then up into the leaves. And she felt this magnificence, this luminescence, and she blended. And then, as should happen, a voice came into her head and said, "Hello, I am the ego. I am going to teach you about fear." Really? But I feel just fine standing here. Oh no, you can't just stand there feeling good forever. How will you ever learn your lessons? So anyway, the voice said, "What are you going to do if a bear comes around the corner of the road?" She said, "Well, say hello. I will blend with the bear too." And I said, "No, no, no." And she said, "Oh, I'll be afraid of the bear?" He said, "Yes, yes, yes." And she said, I cannot rev up fear. I do not have the desire nor the strength to rev up fear in me. I cannot separate from everything. I'm going to wait for the bear, and if it wants to eat me, I will just offer myself to it and move into its mouth and feel its pointy things and listen to the sounds of slashing and growling and feel awe and wonder. That's how I plan to address everything in my life. And the dreams came faster and faster. Marjorie works